Welcome to the Richard Logsdon Show. I am Richard Logsdon. We're going to have the same format today that we had last week. Normally I interview the guests, but these two friends of mine here, the first of the year, they're going to be doing their own show. Right. It's going to be Verl Osmond Live. And so I'm letting them get back into the swing of things by interviewing me.
That's right. We appreciate the opportunity.
We need the swing. Boy.
Oh, yeah. We're a little nervous, but...
I think we have a great show today with a lot of information. Some of it's going to shock you. But that's good. That's good. We have an individual out there running around and doing mudslinging beyond belief. I want to give a little back to them and so they can see what it's like. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, I'd like to ask the first question. You know, we had the last presidential debate last week. Did you happen to see that on television?
I watched every minute of it. I even sat through the commercials because I didn't want to miss any of the debate.
Well, what was your opinion of that?
Pardon?
How did you feel about that? How did it go?
Well, Obama did better than he did the first debate. He showed up. And I thought I thought Mitt Romney won the debate. Mitt Romney went out there with a purpose. Now, a lot of people look at him and they criticized him for that debate because they thought he was not aggressive. That was his total, complete plan, was to not be aggressive, to sit there, because if you noticed, Barack Obama did everything within his power to do what to Romney? Make him mad.
Yes.
I saw a part of it. I was sitting in a restaurant.
Yeah.
But he kept his composure, didn't he?
He kept his composure throughout the whole debate. Now, to me, that tells me something. That tells me that we'll have a president with a level head on his shoulders.
Uh-huh.
Obama was not a president with a level head.
No, he didn't let himself get ruffled.
No, he would go this way or whatever his teleprompter told him to do, that's what he would do.
That's a familiar word.
I don't know if you saw the one clip of Obama or not. It wasn't in the debate. He was giving another speech, and he had his teleprompter there, and it came up, and it said, corpsmen. You know what corpsmen are?
No, I don't.
They're medics. A corpsman is a medic in the Navy.
Oh.
Okay.
The Army
That's
calls them medic.
Oh, yeah.
And so anyway, he was looking there, and this showed him on television. He was trying to figure out how to pronounce the word.
Really? It showed him doing that?
It showed him doing that, yeah.
Oh,
looking
really?
up there. And so you know what he finally settled on? Corpsman.
Oh, my word.
So the medics were dead men treating wounded men. I thought that was pretty interesting. But Obama thought he was cool. He thought he was neat. He kept jabbing Romney every chance he got. And Romney's most stalwart retort to that was, attacking me is not going to solve anything.
I saw that part.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
And Romney mentioned the fact that we have so few ships in our Navy now. Obama comes back and he says, and the left is really making a big deal out of that. Oh, we really got Romney on that one. Well, it was such a stupid retort that Obama made. Oh, we have less horses and bayonets now, too, Governor Romney.
Why would that be something to boast about, having less?
Well, not only that, he said horses and bayonets. Number one, you don't fight naval battles with horses and bayonets.
Well, of course not.
Excuse me. And number two, the tank replaced the horse about 9 generations ago. 9 generations of tanks I'm speaking about. Now, Barrack, I'm going to explain to you what a tank is. A tank is a motorized vehicle, and it has a great big long gun on it. Now, our new tank, the Abrams, can shoot while it's rolling. Now, some of those tanks can do 50-plus miles an hour. They replaced the horse. So we have not only fewer horses today, we have no horses today. As a matter of fact, the last time we used a horse in a major campaign was when Blackjack Pershing crossed into Mexico in 1916 looking for Pancho Villa. We have no horses today, to my knowledge. The Marines still use a bayonet because if they run out of hand grenades and bullets and all the rest of it, they can still fight with a bayonet. And as far as ships go, well, what can I say? I know that you leftists out there now, you're saying that, oh, he actually added to the Navy. Well, when they came in, when you took office, my friend, you had almost 400 ships in the Navy. Today you have 285. Now, I'm glad I went to a country school that taught reading, writing, and arithmetic, because at least I can add and subtract. I would say you're down 100 ships. The Navy says we need a minimum of 313 to even begin to defend ourselves and meet our obligations. Well, my gosh, we have 285, so as far as I am concerned, we're down what? 28 ships from the absolute minimum that we need. That's just a math lesson for you. And then next, submarines. You said the submarines would go underwater. Yeah, they do. They go underwater. And they're pretty fast, too. And we've had submarines, since World War I.
No, but I've been in the Navy all this time.
Now, the United States Navy says we need a minimum of 57 attack submarines for the security of the United States. Today, we have 54. We're down 3 from the minimum the Navy says we need. They're Los Angeles.
Naval man, right?
Well, yeah. I spent 8 years in the Navy, so I...
You want to know what you're talking about?
I know what I'm talking about. I definitely spent more time than Barack Obama. Now, we have the Los Angeles class submarine, which is being replaced by the Virginia class, but they only have 33 of those scheduled. So when the total replacement is done, we'll be down to 33 subs instead of 54 protecting our security. Now, the Iranians are already talking about holding maneuvers off of our coast. What are we going to do about that, Barrack?
Did you hear anything?
No, I listened. He obviously didn't have his teleprompter.
Boy, you're on a roll today, aren't you?
Well,
when you serve that long in the Navy,
being in the Navy,
you're going to have something to say.
How many years did you say?
8 active duty, 2 in the reserves, 10 altogether.
So you saw action. You were involved.
You're in there firsthand.
Firsthand. You know what's out there.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of our vets out there have had that kind of experience.
Yes.
So what about the ones that are there now? I mean, how do they feel about what's going on? I mean, if you were there and you put yourself in their place, what would you?
They're there because of a number of reasons. Patriotic is not the least of the reasons. It's a big reason. Some of them are there because they really do like the military. Some are in the Navy because they really like the Navy. Even after all these years, I personally miss things about the Navy. And
how do you think they feel about what you're saying? I bet they'd be on board.
Well, there are those who can't wait to get out. You have, as many different opinions as you have people.
That's right. We talked last time about how most of us are not really out there to learn about that. We're just kind of so involved in our own lives that we don't take time to study the foreign events and things like that.
And the thing about it is that a lot of people think Romney was not aggressive enough. I lean a little toward that myself. I think he should have jumped on the Benghazi thing, but he didn't. And I think he accomplished what he wanted to accomplish.
Yeah.
And I think Barack Obama accomplished what he didn't want to accomplish. He made a jackass out of himself. And that's exactly what I think of Barack Obama.
Your choice of words are quite colorful, my friend.
Yes, yes.
Well, when you mentioned at the beginning of the show that people out there are going to be shocked by some of the things, some of the agenda we have today. I was shocked myself. So.
Yeah, and I am taken back by the fact that so many of us in our country, where we enjoy our freedom, we don't take time out to study what to continue to protect our freedom.
That's true. And as far as debates go, the other night I was in a restaurant, and the waitress was asked, who are you going to vote for? And she says, Obama. And she was asked, why? Guess what her answer was? If we elect Romney, he's going to take away funding for Sesame Street.
So we're relying upon social
and
money.
Too many people
we're relying
upon
upon that kind of mentality.
Oh boy!
Who has one tiny little thing like that they're worried about, so they vote for Barack Obama. Yeah, about that one thing. Yes.
I'll be darned.
Well, anyway, that's my take on the debate.
That's your response. Okay, interesting.
Well, this is a little bit of a sensitive subject, but I think it's important and I think it needs to be said. Chris Matthews, the other night, was pretty hardball on accusing women of not wanting to be in control of their own bodies, and specifically, he used the V word, and some people are comfortable with that, some people aren't. But to me, does he understand the woman's anatomy? Because it's not in the V area where you have a baby, it's in the uterus. So maybe he might want to go in and have
and you're absolutely right, and I won't use the V word because it would make you and probably other women out there uncomfortable. So
but why even bring that up, though? I mean,
because he made such a big deal out of it. He sat there and pounded his desk like that and says, why doesn't the other half of the women in the seat, Romney and Obama are tied as far as women right now. And that's not good, you see, for Obama. And so Chris Matthews is doing everything he can to try to help Obama.
By breaking down the women?
Yeah, by breaking down the women. And he was pounding his desk and said, women, wake up. Don't you want to be in control of your own V-word body? And my answer to that is, well, Chris, now we're slinging mud here a little bit now. Yeah. We're going after the left. What you need to do is take a class on female anatomy.
That's exactly what I said.
Because Debbie is absolutely right. The V area has nothing to do with the baby. It's all in the uterus. So learn what that V word is and what it's for. Learn what the uterus is and what it's for. Learn what fallopian tubes are and what they're for. And then come back and with some credibility pound your desk. You can even get up on it and do a little jig if you want to.
I bet several women were offended by that.
I think most women are offended by this topic.
I mean, him coming out and being that way.
The power that women have, the voting power.
Well, they're not stupid.
No, they're brilliant.
They're very, very brilliant.
Yes.
And they deserve some respect and consideration.
Well, how about the fact that it takes two? It takes both male and female to create a baby.
That's
so
absolutely true.
You know?
No, but the whole subject
But I was
matter,
asked once, do you think women deserve special consideration?
Well, but consideration for the child. Yeah. We're missing the point here. For destroying the life of a baby. That's very offensive.
Well, and then Joe Biden, he really believes that too, except he doesn't want to stop somebody else from killing a baby.
Yeah.
And
that's
goes back to the freedom.
Yeah, we're back to the freedom. Anyway, my answer to the other question is yes, I think women deserve special consideration. After all, they're half the population, and they're the mothers of the other half.
Yeah.
Boy, that tells you the respect that they ought to have. Absolutely.
I like that. I like how you put that. So, okay.
Well, Obama came out with a booklet. Remember that one?
Yes.
And it outlined...
He's still waving it around.
Well, we're talking about the plan of recovery.
Yes.
Okay, give your take on that.
I have not read that booklet. We're in a state that's definitely going to go for Romney, so he can't see sending any booklets here and wasting booklets in the state of Utah. And there are several states like that. He's only handing those booklets out in the swing states, you see. But from those that have read it, meaning Republicans, and from the Romney camp, says it's nothing more than a rehashed version of his first campaign. And if that's the truth, and it probably is, because he's not known for his bright ideas and good ideas. If he is not told to think by the teleprompter, then he's in trouble. The teleprompter should have been programmed to say, Corman, Barrack, Corman.
So what's the point of this booklet? Is it to get...
The point of the booklet is that the Republicans say that he doesn't have a plan. And he's handing out this booklet to show his plan. He's only handing it out in the swing states, you see. And his plan is exactly what he said he was going to do in his first campaign. As a matter of fact, he is doing everything that was negative in his first campaign. He came up with all these negative things that a campaign shouldn't be slinging mud, shouldn't be doing this, shouldn't be doing that, and he's doing every one of them because he is desperate.
Uh-huh.
And you see that in...
Oh, absolutely. There's a good chance he's going to lose this election.
Obama?
Obama.
Even with all the people, there's so many people out there that are dependent on all the programs that he has created. They don't...
Well, what these people need to understand is that they're not gonna be able to get those programs with Obama either, because it takes money to pay for them.
Yeah, we're
And
so
paying
much
for it?
in debt.
Where is he going to get the money?
Well, from the taxpayer, obviously.
So
There isn't.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Well, I personally don't like the plan of recovery. It doesn't make sense. I've read it.
you've read it?
Mm-hmm.
You've read the pamphlet?
Uh-huh.
How did you get a hold of one?
Well,
all right, you don't have to tell me.
I do take
secrets
time
are
out to study
secrets.
the issues out there, Richard, but the plan of recovery just doesn't make sense in terms of where they're going to get the money. That's the bottom line.
Well, he's going to
You
rape
know.
the military for one thing.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well, we're going to pause for a few minutes, and we want to thank you for being with us this first part. Stay with us. We'll be back in a few minutes, and we'll go on to the next things that we want to talk to Richard about.
Excellent. A famous celebrity made a political ad for none other than the anointed one, Barack Obama, implying that the economy is just fine and is humming along. We are 6 trillion more in debt. Hundreds of thousands of people have lost their homes. 23 million people are out of work. Are things really humming along, Morgan? I think not. Welcome back to the Richard Logsdon Show, and I am Richard Logsdon. This is George Verl and Debbie Babbitt. They're starting their own show here shortly right after the first of the year, and they wanted to know if they could sit on my show and interview me and kind of get back into the old saddle again, you know, ready to roar. They've been out
Sounds like fun, huh?
Yeah, they've been out of action for a while.
We're totally out.
So,
out
having said that, I'll turn it back over to you and you.
Oh, okay. Well, since we are talking about the campaign and Obama and all these issues, because we have an election coming up soon, and we just want people to be, well, Richard, anyway, wants people to be aware so that when they go to vote, they'll at least have some information and have the freedom to make that choice with a little bit more information. Yeah. I'm learning stuff from here. So on the campaign, this last 3 times that you have watched it, how have you felt about his conduct, and how he has presented himself? As an example, I mean, does he look like he's a good example for
Obama or
Obama?
Obama.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he's a good example of how not to be.
How not to be. Okay.
And there again, I emphasize, you know, you go to a racetrack like we did during the last election, and you see this snorting and huffing and puffing, and they break. And then by the time he nears the finish line, you see what he really is. He's a fecal-covered, 3-legged jackass.
Or like a bull in a...
Well, those are pretty harsh words again, Richard.
Well, He deserves harsh words.
My goodness.
He's the most pathetic individual that has ever occupied the White House, and for a lot of reasons. I will get into those more as we go on.
Well, and I guess, this is your show, and we're interviewing you, and you have a right, your freedom of speech, like we said before, to express how you feel.
Yeah. Well, the poor guy that filmed that video that supposedly caused all that trouble in Libya, they went and arrested him, put him in handcuffs, and called YouTube and demanded that they take it off the air. Now, from what I understand, it's still on the air because
I haven't seen that.
YouTube told them to go somewhere. So, if they want to come and put me in handcuffs for expressing my feelings and my, my constitutional rights, then let them. I'm not going to shut up. We
live in a land of freedom here.
Yes, we do.
Well, I admire you having the confidence to be as bold to say what you feel. When we have our show, we're going to share how we feel about health and
I think
other issues, and I'm grateful for that. Doesn't mean anybody out there has to agree. It doesn't mean anybody out there has to like it, but at least we're giving them information, and they can take that and do what they want with it.
By the way, for the sake of time,
do the right thing.
Yeah,
for the sake
make
of
the right
time,
choices.
I'd like to ask another question, if I may.
Certainly.
What do you think of Obama's foreign affairs out there?
His foreign affairs are deplorable. As I have said before, I do not believe he is a friend of the United States. Here's a person in the White House, and I think he is an enemy of this country. And yes, did he remove the dictatorship in Egypt? Yes. Did the dictatorship in Egypt need to be removed? Yes. And the same thing in Libya. But replace it with a legitimate constitutional government, not the Arab Brotherhood, which holds hands with Al-Qaeda as they walk down the street in those respective countries. They will not be our friends. They will end up being allies of Iran, who is our enemy also.
So are you saying he's taken what is, quote, a legitimate thing, but then he has his agenda behind it?
Absolutely.
Of how he's going to put it back in place?
Yes, he is. He said, now I am putting more emphasis in the Pacific, meaning referring to our military. What he's really doing is taking our military from the eastern part of the United States, the Atlantic and Mediterranean, putting them in the Pacific, so we will not be able to help Israel if Israel needs help.
Isn't there anybody else in those places that kind of see what he's doing?
I think they are, but they're afraid to talk about it. Okay? Now, there has been more information to come out on the Benghazi thing. Did you know they had a drone in the sky for 7 hours watching that whole thing go down? It took 7 hours to kill 4 guys. 7 hours to kill 4 guys.
Can you explain that drone for people out there that might not understand what you're talking about?
Well, a drone is a spy plane. That's basically what it is. It can be used to deliver ordnance, but it's also used for spying. For 7 hours, from start to finish, they watched our people die.
From the drone?
From the drone.
How do you know that? Where did you,
Because it's already come out that there was a drone up there. That's now common knowledge.
Okay.
Now, let's put pieces together.
Yeah.
Okay? Russia said that American weapons are being used in Syria. His pants dropped then. Russia caught us with our pants down. So how are the Syrian rebels getting American weapons?
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yes. They're coming through Turkey.
So how did Turkey get them?
Through the ambassador of Libya. He was in charge of running the guns through Turkey to Syria. And he's going to replace the Syrian dictatorship with another Arab Brotherhood.
So this is, all these have to be in
So they
place.
watched, that drone up there watched and let them die, because it's better to let them die than to live and talk about what was going on and possibly leak all of this information out.
Well, it's pretty shocking to hear this.
And look what Nixon went through for bugging the Democratic headquarters, in Watergate.
Watergate.
This makes Nixon and his guys look like knights in shining armor. As a matter of fact, I expect the Catholic Church to canonize him any day now.
I wonder what they're going to name this one.
Who knows?
Firegate.
But this is interesting information that's come out. Now, let's examine that a little closer. Now that we know that, what does that make Barack Obama? That makes him an accomplice to murder. That is why Hillary ran from it as much as she could until she was told that she had to stand up and be the fall woman. So she got up and said, the buck stops here. This is absolutely deplorable. Instead of being up for election for another 4 years, he should be in trial for murder. He should be in trial for committing the felony that he committed in Kenya when he campaigned for Odinga. He's an individual who has the talent of looking you in the eye, smiling at you, at the same time urinating in your pocket.
So he can look right at you and deceive you looking right into your eyes.
And
he does
smile.
that in the camera all the time.
He does. He does.
Because I've seen him, and he looks out there, and most people,
you look kind of taken back, Burl.
Well, I'm wondering why we don't have this information all documented.
It's coming out
Why
slowly.
can't the people be aware of what's going on? How are you able to get this information and the rest of us are not?
Well, everything except the gun running is now common knowledge. It's all coming out.
I know you study, you research. Well, most of us don't do that.
No.
Yeah.
I'm learning more by interviewing you.
I'm very concerned about our country's freedom.
I
really am.
And I'm putting, pieces of the puzzle together.
Yeah.
And this is now the only thing that makes sense. And he used that stupid video as a cover-up, hoping that the questions would go away simply by saying that. But the video had nothing to do with it.
Well, then we're talking about the entire administration of Obama and
Yes,
all
we
those
are.
people as well, not just him.
That is correct.
Boy, we better get out and start researching and being concerned about our country if this is what it is.
I said
Boy.
during the last show that we just spent 2 hours a week.
2 hours a week.
Everybody, every adult.
Just to study
would make a
and
big
learn.
difference. Yes.
Yeah.
Most people can just, even if they don't have the internet, they can go to the library, they can get books.
Information's out there, but people don't take the time
Yeah.
to do that. You're right.
So,
Boy, that's concerning.
well, if you don't mind me bringing up a little bit about the First Lady. Now, you had expressed that even if Obama gets back in, there's no money out there for him to even go out and do what he claims he can do. What about the amount of lavish spending that the First Lady does?
Well,
does that count? I mean,
That's interesting.
when you're spending money that's made out of thin air, which is exactly what we're doing nowadays.
credit, credit, credit.
Well, credit, but we're the printing press, the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, we're common
That
knowledge. All of
runs
us.
these bills off that have no backing.
Well, so
No
many of
backing
us
of
want to turn the
He
He
other
made
way.
one vacation to Hawaii that cost $4 million.
Oh, my word.
Who does that?
I mean,
But the
that's a
time
lot.
you count the use of Air Force One, the personnel that flew the plane, the personnel that got it ready, all of the security involved, what she actually spent, it amounted to $4 million.
Did she take the main plane?
Is that common
The
knowledge?
presidential
Air Force. Yes,
One?
yes.
Oh, boy.
Hi.
I've never heard
Do you know
that.
how many people you can feed with $4 million?
Oh.
A really nice meal?
There's so many
Most
people
people
out there that
don't
we
know
need to
this,
care
do
for.
they?
100,000. They could have taken that money and fed Barack Obama's half-brother for the rest of his life and another life after this one. The one who's living out of garbage cans and living in absolute poverty. She's racist. The first words out of her mouth after they got elected was, "Now we can take from Whitey." And she still likes
I
that
didn't
term.
hear that. I didn't know that.
I've never
Well,
heard
they
that.
shut her up. They
Yeah.
put
Oh,
the
they-
muzzle on her right after that.
Interesting. Well, let's go to show that many of us don't know this information. Here
No.
again, we don't study,
Absolutely
we don't
not.
read about it.
She is possibly the most racist lady that has ever occupied the White House. I don't consider her the first lady. Barack Obama wanted to keep the wives out of it, and I can see why. But if they're going to go around and make speeches, and if Romney's wife is subject to criticism, then the Anointed One's wife is subject to criticism as well, because there's plenty on her.
You don't see much. I don't hear much about Romney's wife,
No, you don't.
That-
Not much.
but there is a lot more about them. Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So we are going to take another break, and we'll be right back. And thanks for being with us.
A famous celebrity made a political ad for none other than the Anointed One, Barack Obama, implying that the economy is just fine and is humming along. We are $6 trillion more in debt. Hundreds of thousands of people have lost their homes. 23 million people are out of work. Are things really humming along, Morgan? I think not. Welcome back to the Richard Logsdon Show. I am Richard Logsdon. This is Debbie Babbitt, and this is George Verrill, for those of you who may have just tuned in to watch. They're interviewing me today because they're going to be starting their own show shortly after the first of the year, and they wanted to know, they've had experience before, but they wanted to interview me to get back on their feet and on their game, so to speak.
Would you tell the people about what we're going to be doing? Kind of exciting.
Well, for us, the passion that we have is we want to just, again, provide information like Richard's doing politically, but we want to provide information for people on their health, on wellness, on family and marriage and relations, on the interaction that you may have even in business, but most of all to kind of teach you how to take charge of your own body and your own life
And your own home.
and go with it,
Yeah.
Recognize that
I think it'll be
you
a lot
do
of fun.
this.
We're going to throw in some
It'll
few
be fun.
jokes in there.
Awesome.
And hopefully
Like,
there will be two reasons to celebrate. Hopefully Mitt Romney will be going to the White House at about the same time you start your show.
Yeah, we'll be playing that one by
Be
ear.
playing that one. Well, on with the questions, if you have any.
Well, okay, Colin Powell, okay, his endorsement of Obama's influence.
He endorsed Obama during his last campaign. I am not impressed with Colin Powell. Some people think he's a great American. I don't think he is. Number one, when Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait and occupied them, guess who was against driving them out? Colin Powell. But he got the credit for doing that. He got credit for doing a lot of things that he didn't do.
Do you think he can influence this campaign by endorsing them?
Well,
Or,
he's
people that do like him and follow him. And,
he's a feather in Obama's hat because a lot of people perceive Colin Powell to be a great man.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think Colin Powell is anything special in the military. I appreciate and respect the fact that he did serve 30 years. You know, he made general. He was chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He's worked in Bush's administration, and he did what he was asked to do. And like a good soldier, he followed orders. But as soon as he left the administration, as soon as he left his job, he turned Democrat. And the first time I can't blame him because I supported Obama too. So, you know, Colin Powell, he's no more guilty than I am.
I hate to admit it, but I did too.
Yes. So many millions of people in this country did. But to say that Mitt Romney has no experience in foreign affairs and that Barack Obama does, well, General, you had better square your boy away because he does not know tiddly-dee about foreign affairs except for his agenda, which is what he is trying to do in the Middle East. And now this is my opinion. I've researched what's going on, and I think that's exactly what he's doing. And he does need another term to complete his agenda. I think Colin Powell's endorsement will be minimal on the actual electorate.
So as you had, very nicely put it, a feather in the cap, that feather can be plucked out then.
Oh, the wind can blow it away.
Okay.
Richard, we went back and we talked about the campaign, the presidential campaign. Who do you think is ahead? Right now?
I don't know. There are so many polls out there, and some have Romney ahead in the swing states. Some have Obama ahead in the swing states. Some have both of them, ahead in some states and not in others.
Okay.
I don't know.
Is it a 50-50 kind of a thing?
I hope not.
Okay. I was just wondering what you had.
We're going to have to wait until the election.
Yeah.
That's not very far away.
No, and I'll be 11 days, I think. I'll be glued to my television.
That's the last question I had for you.
So people out there should get out and register to vote. This is the year to do it. It really is the year to do it.
Vote for Mitt Romney, and I will tell you why in just a moment.
Okay.
In just a moment?
Yep.
Okay.
Because I know you have at least one more question
Well,
for me.
the last one for me is, okay, who out of the two, do you think Obama is more experienced in foreign affairs? Do you really think that?
I think we covered that, but would you elaborate a little more?
Did you want to?
Well, I want to elaborate more.
Okay.
Let me tell you what's happening. We're no longer the top rooster on the totem pole. Who do you think is?
Those who have the, no.
China.
Okay.
Oh, now that concerns
China is poised and ready to become the next superpower.
I mean, like crouching tighter.
She's building up her military, but this is why we need Mitt Romney. Foreign affairs now, even more than military, is based economically.
It is.
Most people don't know this, but the United States dollar has been used as a foreign exchange or currency for the whole world.
Is that why they tried to do that European euro? They tried to get us to participate, but we never did.
That's not going to work.
No, that's not going to work. Now, what China has been doing is artificially holding her currency has a value much less than what the dollar is. Okay, they're going to start upgrading their currency so it will actually surpass the value of the dollar, because you see they have the wealth to do it.
They do.
They have trillions of dollars in cash. We have none. And by the way, most people do not realize it, but how much is our debt? We've been told 16 trillion. We're told 16 trillion all the time. Do you know that counting our financial obligations for our own future, for Medicaid, for Medicare, for Social Security, and so many other committed programs that we have, guess what the true debt of the United States is?
What would it be?
Well, short-term debt is 16 trillion. Long-term debt is 129 trillion. Put them together, and the United States owes $145 trillion.
Wow, that's terrible.
Most people don't realize that. Now, when the Chinese yuan, as they call it, increases in value, the dollar will be left in the dirt. Already, people around the world are starting to pay and buy certain things. When I say people, I mean nations. And they're paying it in Chinese yuan. Now, what it will do is the yuan has actually been propping up the U.S. dollar because they've been loaning us so much money, plus they've been buying up the world's debt, our world's debt.
By the way...
How are they doing that? I mean, is it because they're a communist country? Or?
Well, no. They're actually a capitalist country.
Capitalist?
They're beating us at our own game.
Incidentally, I read an article in the newspaper the other night about properties that are owned by the Chinese government over here.
Well, of course.
Masses of real estate
What
owned
about
by.
the military that you saw that they have?
Yeah.
Incredible military.
Well, anyway, the value of the dollar will become less and less.
Yeah.
Countries all over the world will then go and just gravitate to the Chinese yuan. Now, as our dollar becomes less and less, that means everything over here will become more expensive.
Oh boy.
Rent,
That's already happening.
food, yes it is. And you're going to see it happening more.
Cost of living is going right up.
Guess what class in our country is going to be totally destroyed?
Middle class.
The middle class.
Yep.
They will all become lower class.
But I'm concerned about all the acquisition of properties over here by the Chinese government.
Well,
You know?
you're going to see that continue. I'd like to make some closing remarks to the people out there. I'm not a rich man. As a matter of fact, I am in the top of the lower half of the socio-economic strata in this country. I am at best lower middle class. I live on a fixed income. I'm disabled and I'm retired. I live in a 2-bedroom apartment. I have sufficient for my needs. I have the dishwasher and the garbage disposal. I have central heating to keep me warm in the winter and central air conditioning to keep me cool in the summer. And I have a dishwasher, a microwave. The car I drive is 13 years old. I am actually paying for this out of my own pocket because I believe that I, as an ordinary American, like millions of you, an American who really lives month to month, I'm on a fixed income, like millions of you. But I want you to know that because of everything that's happening in the world, we need a Mitt Romney in the White House. He is qualified as in business. He is qualified in economics. Barack Obama isn't. He just gets up and lies. That's all he does. Lie, lie, lie. Lie on top of lie. We need Mitt Romney in the White House. And that is why I am pleading with you. Please, when you go cast your ballot, you cast it for the right person. Do you think that Barack Obama understands fully what is going on with China? If he does, it's only because people have told him, but he is not going to do anything to try to change it. I want, in the worst way, to be able to turn this flag and display it upright. I can't. This country is in so much distress, there is no way I can, in good conscience, display that flag upright. I'm giving you people out there a few seconds, a few minutes to ponder. I fought a war for 6 years for this nation. And finally, in the end, I stood on the deck of a ship and I literally watched South Vietnam burn. I don't want to have to stand on a hillside and watch this country burn. This is my country, this is your country. And I don't care what history might have to say about people like me. I only care what the future of this nation can offer my children and my grandchildren. My posterity, your posterity. We are at a crossroads, and the way you vote will determine the future of this nation. If you vote for Barack Obama, you vote for total collapse. If you vote for Romney, if it can be fixed, he will fix it. He loves this nation. This nation is his nation. He wasn't born overseas. This is the nation of his children too, and his grandchildren. You know,
Oh, God bless our country.
God bless America. God bless the United States. And may God have mercy on this people. Thank you.
Thank you.